it's Lori here. We are having some construction being done at my house, so if you hear some people talking in the background or some sound effects, I apologize. We are redoing our whole backyard and it is incredibly noisy. But I did want to pop in here and do a new video for you guys. Always and seasonally, there's always like new book tags coming out. I don't do book tags on my channel a lot, but I was intrigued to do this one. So the first question is, how do you decorate your bookshelves? So this is kind of a dual question because normally, like yearly, my bookshelves decorations don't really change. I know people are seasonal and they change their bookshelves out. As you can see, I have a lot of Funko figures. I have more than you can see in back of me, but all of my shelves pretty much are filled with Funko figures. Not all of them, but I do have quite a bit. So they're all filled with Funko figures. But I also do Instagram photos. If you're not following me on Instagram, the link will be in the description box, where it's a little bit more seasonal based. I have some seasonal candles. I always buy seasonal things, especially on Halloween, Christmas. I always have seasonal like props for my Bookstagram photos that sort of like frame like what month we're in. I also recently did change my backdrop and I have like a back screen for my Instagram photos that I take. If you ever see me filming my YouTube videos, that's why it's not over there anymore, because it doesn't look very good, but it looks good for Instagram photos. But yeah, mostly I don't do seasonal like bookshelf changes, but I do change out my Instagram props on Instagram. So that is what I always season. But right now, these are my main shelves. Well, some of them, and they all have Funkos on them. I have a Fantastic Beasts shelf. I have a Harry Potter shelf, and I have a Stranger Things shelf. I also, next to me, I have a Harry Potter shelf. I have my Marvel and my DC shelf, and then I also have a Buffy shelf, but that is over there. So yeah, I don't collect every Funko known to man, but I do collect my favorites. Probably my biggest collections are Harry Potter, Stranger Things. I also have a Disney shelf that I really, really enjoy. It's just up a little bit too high. I have the Teen Wolf Funkos. I have Raya and the Last Dragon, which is a recent acquisition, and I also recently got Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I think Harry Potter is probably my biggest, including with Fantastic Beasts, probably my biggest collection. But yeah, I really, really like it. It's super fun. But that's how I decorate my bookshelf, but also how I decorate my Instagram photos. Question is, what are some books that have like a nature element to it? I have two. I don't know what happened to my copy of Forest of Souls, but that is one, Lori Emily, that I would definitely recommend. It has definitely a more eerie and creepy version of it, but also Among the Beast and Briars also has a slightly less creepy version of it, but there is a very, very strong focus on the woods and nature, and there's also a fox character in it. And if I had to think of one that was like purely like fun, it's Willa of the Wild by Beatty. It's a middle grade series. It's actually up there. I just don't feel like going up and getting it. But those are a couple of series that have like some nature elements that I remember reading. On this tag was, show us a book that has a pretty cover. This is actually one of my most recent purchases, The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Perner. It is a historical fiction read that has to do with apothecaries and potions, and this cover is so pretty. I love this color combination. I love the simplicity of it, and I think it's awesome. I really hope to read this book soon. It's not that long. It's like not even 300 pages, but it looks really, really pretty, and I'm happy that I actually bought it. So yeah, excited. But this is one that has a pretty cover. There are so many pretty books, but this is just the one that I bought most recently. Also, Amari and the Night Brothers is also another pretty cover, but it's over there. But yeah, so that's the answers for this one. And the next question is, spring is about to start fresh. Great time to start a new series. What would you recommend? All right, let me have a couple, so let me go find them. I want to start and one series that I'm about to complete. So the one I'm about to complete that doesn't get nearly enough love and attention is the Potion Diaries series by Amy Alwer. This is the last book going viral, but this is like a fantasy light series that has to do with princesses and apothecaries and potions and magic. And I read the first two pretty close together and really, really enjoyed it. And this is one that has to do with like a side character who runs like a potion shop, and it was super fun when I read it. I really hope to wrap up this series soon. And this is a great spring read because it just whenever I think of spring, I always think of fairy tales. I don't know why, but this one sounds super cute, and it's actually part of my plan to read more sequels in 2021. So this is a series that I would like to continue reading, complete, and hopefully you guys will check out because I think it's super fun. The first book is The Potion Diaries. I think it was originally called Madly, and then I got a cover change, but The Potion Diaries is the first book. And a series that I want to start, and I've heard so many good things about, is the Way of Kings series by Brandon Sanderson. It's a massive, massive series, like very, very massive. I read the first 66 pages in it. I just have not picked it back up, but I did like the first 66 pages that I read. But definitely make up this a priority in the upcoming months would be nice before I head off for the summer, preferably. But I just need to sort of pick a month to read it, and I think that month might be April. We'll see, but I do want to focus on this for a month because it's going to take me a bit to read. So this one's going to be one that I'm going to focus on, and I think I'm going to do that in April, but we'll talk about more of that in my April wrap-up. That I am really happy that it was on this tag, but that is it's about time to start reading outside. Have you been brave enough yet? And I haven't, not quite yet. For those that don't know, I live in New York. I live on Long Island, but I also commute into the city. It has been pretty cold here so far, and normally when it gets nice and warm, I go for a lot of bike rides. I read in the park. I wasn't able to do that most of last year, but towards the very end in the summer, I was able because the parks opened back up. But I haven't been able to do it. We're also in the middle of our yard being totally renovated, like completely renovated, as you guys will hear in the background sometimes with all the construction noise. We're getting a new ground and new stuff, so everything's sort of like, there's nowhere I can sit outside right now in my house, but when it does get warm, absolutely. I'm also really happy because they're going to bring back yoga in the park, which I'm so excited about. So yeah, definitely really excited. I'm waiting for maybe it to be a little bit nicer so I could sit outside before my train comes when I'm in the city, and rather than sit like inside a crowded thing with all the things happening, I might just read outside and then go to my train, but it just hasn't been that nice yet to do that. But yeah, I really am excited to do some bike riding. Again, I get a lot of listening in when I bike ride, but not yet. But I'm counting down the days until it's warm. Last year we had a really early spring. This year I would love to have an early spring, but I just don't think it's going to happen. But I am waiting for the hours to happen so I can read, and I love to read outside. I love reading outside. It's like one of my favorite things to do. But yeah, not yet, but I am patiently waiting the day that I can. So the next question is, sorry for the angle change, what are some books that you are unhauling? And I actually do unhaul quite a bit. Normally when I read a book, if I don't think I'm going to read it again, I normally would give it to someone or donate it or give it to my students, but due to the COVID, we're not really allowed to do that anymore, but I have snuck a few, but normally we can't do that. So, but here are some of the books that I don't think I'm necessarily going to read again. Thrill Like a Girl by Sarah Henning. I really like this one. I just don't think I'm going to read it again. I am really excited for her upcoming contemporary novel about a gymnast because that is definitely my favorite sport. Another one is Rent a Boyfriend by Gloria Chow. Again, another one that I read. I really enjoyed. Don't think I'm going to read it again. A Lady's Guide to Mischief and Mayhem is a book that I wound up DNFing. I don't think I'm going to finish reading it, so I'm probably going to give it away. Kiss My Cupcake by Helena Hunting is a romance book that was really, really fun. I'm going to give this to my coworker who likes romances and contemporary reads. And then Lore by Alexandra Bracken. I have 3 copies of this book, so I'm going to give this to my friend Sarah whenever I see her, which at this point will probably be in the summer. And then another book that I unwritten that I wound up keeping was Library of the Unwritten by A.J. Hackwood. I think I'm going to give this to my friend Jess. Yeah, those are just some of the books that I'm planning on unhauling. I do unhaul quite a bit. I unhaul every single month, pretty much. I read books, I put them on a stack, and then I see at the end of the month which ones I'm going to get rid of. So I do actually do quite a bit of unhauling. Those are all the books that I have acquired in the last couple of months. So age-old one, what books are you going to replace it with? I haven't actually been to Barnes & Noble in a bit. I was hoping my mom would take me in a couple of days, but we will see. But one of the books I definitely want to pick up, it's going to be a new release, is Lost in an Everwood by Aidan Thomas. That is a Peter Pan-inspired novel, which sounds awesome. I think it's a contemporary mystery thriller, which I love mysteries, and I really love reading them in the springtime. They're very, very quick-paced. Also, a nonfiction read that I learned about from Super Space Chick is Silent Spring. It was the first work written about climate change. Was the first book written about that topic. And I have Bill Gates' new one, but I do want to have a little bit more of a foundation. So that's another one that's high on my list. And then Sweet and Bitter Magic by Adrienne Tooley, I also would like to get my hands on relatively quickly. And I think that's it. Oh, and then there's also some summer ones. There's like What's Not to Love by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca, Take Back the Night by Morgan Matson. Those are like later in the summer, but I've already pre-ordered those and they're coming to me. But yeah, so those are just some of the questions for this tag. Let me know some of the answers to these questions in the comments or on my blog post, and I will talk to you guys for my next video. Bye.